If you or someone you love is dealing with a serious illness, these are must-reads. Dr. Sammy Winemaker and Dr. Hsien Seow both work with very sick people, and together they have written Hope for the Best, Plan for the Rest, 7 Keys for Navigating a Life-Changing Diagnosis. There's a book, and then there's a workbook as well. That is a mouthful, but it means so much because, and this was born out of something you were both very frustrated with the way of palliative care and just patients not knowing what was going on.
That's exactly it. I mean, we heard so many patients say to us, I wish I had known that sooner. If only someone had explained that to me, I might have made different decisions. And so that was disheartening to us.
And sometimes it's doctors not willing to kind of extinguish hope for.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, we realized everybody wants hope, but we learned that we have to hope for the best, but also plan for the rest. Those who are able to entertain the what ifs and just appreciate that there are things that they know about their illness that they could plan for had a better experience.
Because you have patients, you found that there were patients who were in the know and kind of in control of their illness and their treatment and the course of the rest of their lives. And then you had patients that were kind of in the dark and just like confused and not knowing what's going on and afraid.
And that latter group, the in the dark group, unfortunately is almost the default. People don't know what they don't know. So they set upon this journey with an illness and can get sort of down that road of in the dark. And the good news is that there are ways to ensure that you are in the know through your illness, which is a completely different illness experience.
Now, what about patients who don't want to, who say, okay, I know I'm dealing with this. I don't want to know exactly when it's going to happen to me. There are still like, you've still got your team of people, right? So you still got like maybe relatives or something who could know, who could be part of that ripple effect.
Absolutely. I mean, there's 2 things. I mean, there is the timeline, but there's the storyline, and you can separate those. And it's the storyline about, you know, what are the natural things that I might want to prepare for that can make a big difference, as well as some people want to know, you know, approximately how much time, but it will change for each person. These are 2 different things. And if they don't want to know, maybe people in their family want to know because they are caring for them and they want to make the best use of their time. So I think this idea of hoping for the best, but also planning it's just an approach that people can sort of, you know, it's easier for them to feel and not so scary.
Because death is scary, right? If you don't know what to expect.
There's the death, but there's the prelude to death, which is dying. And many people assume that dying is like a light switch, that it just on-off. But dying is actually a chapter of life as normal as puberty is a chapter or menopause is a chapter, but we don't talk about it. So when you are facing a serious illness and you end up realizing that the end of that illness, you will go through this chapter called dying, people fear it and catastrophize it and think of very dramatic things that they assume are going to happen, thanks to TV showing us those things. But it is a very normal part of life, and there's really not as much to fear as people think.
And if you're prepared, like I've seen many examples of like a death that kind of like, okay, people were at peace. They'd made their peace.
I mean, even though we spend a lot of time helping people at the very end, and that's what we kind of thought our book was about, it's actually a book about how to be a patient and how to be a caregiver, because many people face all kinds of illnesses and don't know how to interact with the health system. And so the keys that we talk about that lead people from in the know, from in the dark to in the know, can be used by all kinds of illnesses, including mental health and addictions and others. So in a way, it can help to improve the beginning, can change the end, but it can also help people who just, you know, have to struggle with how they interact with their doctors and hospitals, et cetera.
And the whole healthcare system. And that's where the workbook really comes in, because it's got lists of, you know, suggested questions and ways to ask questions.
Yeah, we wanted people not to fret over the words and what to say and what's appropriate to ask or not appropriate. So yeah, both the book and the workbook are full of the ways that you can ask things and get the information you're really looking for. We also include frequently asked questions in the workbook as well.
Right, right. We've run out of time, but where can people get the books?
They can get them at bookstores or online bookstores as well.
Okay, we'll get the link up on our website. Thank you so much for both writing these books. It's really, really necessary information for everybody. We'll get the links up on our website at chch.com/morninglive.